Paco Sarmiento having a great weekend thus far in the top 10. Mika Slavet, Banya Yamchan will be there. So too will Rafael Kamal, who wants anything other than he had yesterday. As too does the Birolart driver from Great Britain, Jamie Ambrose. Jamie Ambrose wants anything other than what happened yesterday. So there's definitely going to be some big moments to come then. But certainly, it'll be exciting from the outset, that's for sure. As the drivers get themselves ready for another exciting day at the races. This, of course, will also be a race weekend where we get to see Dylan Tan for LOR Racing. This particular race, we'll see him on third position of the grid alongside Wadapong Yamchan. So we'll watch out for the man who took the victory in the final 2 weeks ago. He'll be wanting to continue that pace, the Singaporean. But then, of course, there's also big pressure on young Nathan Aria's shoulders. Only 2 weeks ago, he made his debut in Senior X30, having been a junior prior to that. And they had to make the decision. They said, well, let's switch to senior. You've grown too tall. Let's see if this works. Well, he got pole position in time qualifying. So clearly, it did work. So it'll be Toby Gale from the front alongside Nathan Aria, then Dylan Tan, Wadapong Yamchan, Siddharth Kasem, and the 289 of the Komodo Dragon, Dominic Setiawan, the man who represented Indonesia in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy a couple of seasons back. The man who, of course, is now known to all and sundry as the Komodo Dragon. That's his new nickname. And then we've got, along with Jaden Pope and Wong Kifei, we'll have Paco Miguel Sarmiento and Sishan Gunasekara, Mika Stabat, Slat Anuras, Zach Boyce. And then we've got Panya Yamchan, still acquitting herself well in Senior X30. She's been out testing in Spain recently to try and elevate her standards a bit more. Trying to make things go to a high position. And then we've got an opportunity from Chinuknon Vedetacha, Rafael Kamal, the British driver Jamie Ambrose, still learning his craft with Birolart Asia. And I had a quick word with him this morning. He said, look, I have nothing more to lose. I'm at the tail end. I'm in a kart I know is strong. Let's dig in. Let's go for it. So the 20 drivers lining up. At the end of this race, the bottom 4 ranked drivers in Senior X30 will have to watch the final from the stands. So who is it going to be that takes the win in the second of the Senior X30 Superheats? Gale alongside Arya, then Tan, then Biamchan. Off we go, straight away. Dylan Tan going to come straight in with Toby Gale as they get to the first corner. And already Dylan Tan has made the move to second position. Is everybody going to get through cleanly? This time it's a much better start in Senior X30 as they work their way through the first 2 turns. A couple of drivers trying to itch their way through in the third corner. And it's all okay. Dylan Tan in second place, chasing down the race leader, Toby Gale. A big opportunity now for the contenders as Tan leads the charge after Toby Gale. And up to third comes Cinnamon Kokasem. Great work. So Cinnamon Kokasem on the CRG, looking to try and close up on these two. And then it's Setiawan. Dominic Setiawan doing well in 4th position ahead of Wadapong Yamchan and Jaden Pope. Watch out for the top 1 kart Republics. They'll be charging their way back. 7th place currently for the 260. That is Paco Miguel Sarmiento, the Filipino, having a much stronger weekend here as Jamie Ambrose goes for a spin in the final turn. He had to make the bid to make an overtaking move on the inside, and it's all gone wrong as Ambrose spins the kart down to the back. I think also in trouble there is Thomas George. 2 separate incidents for the Birolarts, and so Ambrose and George cross the line at the back of the field. Meanwhile, Wadapong Yamchan is battling away with Setiawan for 4th and 5th position, these two. Jaden Pope in the number 246, is sat there in P6 looking for a chance to move forward. So still they work the magic. Gale, Tan, Sidama Kokasem, Setiawan, Yamchan, Pope, Sarmiento, Slabat, Wong and Vedetacha. Chance to make progress again for the 244. Weirdasak Yamchan. Hoping to have a very solid race of this. He started well on the weekend on Saturday morning. The qualifying worked his way, but ever since then, the pace has not really with putter. So Gale, still ahead of Dylan Tan. Gale is the championship leader, but Dylan Tan is the man who won the final 2 weeks ago. Here comes Wonapong Yamchan, trying to make his way past the Komodo Dragon on the inside, and he gets past Setyavan. Lovely bit of overtaking, but watch out for Setyavan. He's going to need to shut the door down. Too late. Jaden Pope's already there. So both the top one Start Republic squeeze their way through, and they're up into 4th and 5th places. 7th place now for Sarmiento, then Stabat, Vidatacha, and Coffee himself, Wong Kifei. Nathan Arya in 11th from Zach Boyce, Sra Anuras, and Sashan Gunasekara. Then Panya Yamchan from Shomazwan, Rafael Kamal, Aidan Forbes, Jamie Ambrose, and Thomas George. Everyone still circulating with varying degrees of success. And so the drivers work their way through the final turn onto the home straight once again. That's, oh, contact! That's gone very badly wrong for those two. Shomazwan connecting there with the 239 of Sra Anuras. And I'm not entirely sure that there's going to be a return to the circuit for Shomazwan, facing the wrong way, almost parking himself in the dummy grid. So the Chinese driver having a problem. We're going to see it again as they come through the final turn. Instead of move too far on the inside line, we look back to the apex, both together. Ah, that's what happened. So Shomazwan was on the curb. He fell off the curb and turned into the side of Anuras as he landed. So unfortunate, but that is a mistake from Shomazwan. He came off the curbs, and because the kart kicked out to the left, Anuras was already there. Racing incident, but he could well get a penalty for that. Toby Gale, Dylan Tan, Cinnamon Kukasem, and Wonapong Yamchan. So Putter in 4th position, trying to work his way into 3rd place. The top one, Kart Republic, definitely has pace, but Cinnamon Kukasem knows he's coming. He's defending on lap 5. Goodness me, Cinnamon Kukasem in the CRG clearly feels that the guys in front of him do not have the same level of ability that he does. He clearly feels they're going to be quicker, and he wants to hang on to 3rd place. But surely there's no way that Cinnamon Kukasem can hang on to this 3rd position for 12 laps on the defense when you've not only got Yamchan behind you, but you've also got Jaden Pope there as well. So Cinnamon Kukasem trying to park the bus. Putter almost sliding into the back of him, goes to the right side. And as they cuck out through the hairpin, it's going to be an opportunity for Yamchan. Dylan Tan's got space in front of them. Here comes the battle. They bang wheels. Cinnamon Kukasem is absolutely resolute. He's not going to let Yamchan go, but it's too late. Putter is through. So Putter into 3rd position. Witness Yamchan now 3rd. Here comes the chance from Jaden Pope, and he makes mincemeat of the CRG on the inside, and there's room for the Komodo Dragon too. Dominic Setyavan fancies a chance to squeak up into 5th position. Where's the gap? It's not quite there yet as they head into the Mickey Mouse section. But Dominic Setyavan will be inspired. If those two can get through, so can I. And so it's time for the Komodo Dragon to unleash a little fireball onto the back of the CRG. Down the back stretch. I wonder if Cinnamon Kukasem's tyres are just overheating slightly. And he's starting to lose grip now. 7th place, meanwhile, is Chinoknan Vidatacha. Great start from the tie. Up into 7th place in front of Paco Sarmiento. Then Mika Stabat, Nathan Arya, all the way down to P10. Real problems with his tyres. Then Wong Kifei, Zach Boyce, Aidan Forbes, Panya Yamchan. No longer now in 15th because she's just been overtaken by Rafael Kamal. Then Sashan Gunasekara, Jamie Ambrose, Thomas George, and then we've got Anuras, who is the last driver in because Shomazwan decided to get out of the kart and walk away after that incident at the final turn. And still, Dominic Setyavan lines up the move on the PGFT driver in front of him. So Sidiket Cinnamon Kukasem trying to hold on to things up in the sharp end. But Cinnamon Kukasem really wanting to keep in the top 5. He will already be very irritated and frustrated that he didn't keep it in the top 3. Well, that's one battle he won't win. So can he keep in front of Dominic Setyavan in one of the many Virilarts that have been strong over the course of this weekend? He is the lead driver in RL karting this weekend on pure pace. And he's not too far away from the raw pace of Toby Austin Gale. And we've got a yellow flag. Someone's off. It's one of the Paralins at the final turn. That is Coffee. Coffee's come off. Wong Kifei on the DRM Paralin. Oh dear, steam billowing out of the cart. So clearly a mechanical problem of some kind then for the man who's got the sticker of the Chinese flag with the word coffee on the side pod. That's what the team call him. But sadly for Wong Kifei, that's game over. And so it's Toby Gale that leads the way still. It's been a very quiet race for him up front of Dylan Tan, with the two Top 1 Motorsport Cup Republics of Bontempong Yam-Chan and Jaden Pope, third and fourth. Still having a solid race at the moment, but no major dramas. The big battle is Dominic Setivan to get back on terms with Silicate Cinnamon Kukkasem for fifth position. Back into seventh place again has come Paco Sarmiento, though. So that's good news for the man from the Philippines. And the DRM driver is in front of Chanuknan Vidatacha, then Mika Slab at P9, and Nathan Ardia struggling on this set of tyres in P10. Sadly, all the qualifying pace from the Indonesian has deserted him a little bit in this race, where it just feels as if the tyre degradation has got too much for the Rehabat JMX Phantom driver. So out in front, Toby Gale just galloping away, cantering into the lead out front. Second place for Dylan Tan, who's starting to look a tiny bit vulnerable to Bontempong Yam-Chan and Jaden Pope. It looks as though the Cup Republic is slowly starting to lose that traction. It's when the back end of the cart starts to kick out a little bit and you start to get a little bit more of a four-wheel drift from the machine. It really churns the tyres. Meanwhile, the battle for 8 is still alive and kicking. We're watching it on our screens now. This is Chanuknan Vidatacha, Mika Slabat of Malaysia and Nathan Ardia of Indonesia. The Thai, the Malayan and the Indonesian. Here comes the move from Mika Slabat on the inside line. Lovely. Very textbook overtaking move into the turn 3 hairpin. And now there might be space for a move as well from Nathan Ardia. There is indeed. So Nathan Ardia gets the move. Another position gained then from the Indonesian. That puts him into P9. But we're on at lap 10 out of 16. We're running short of laps in the Senior X30 Superheat B. And as a result of this race, 4 drivers at the end are not going to be competing in the final. 40 entrants, 36 spaces on the grid. So there's going to be some disappointed drivers at the end of all this. That means we're going to be in for a nail-biting encounter in the closing stages. So Toby Gale leads Dylan Tan, but for how much longer? Because here comes Butter. Wirdasak Yam-Chan is hungry. A best ever result in the Infinity IAME Series Asia paddock could be on here for Wirdasak Yam-Chan. He could just get this done. Working hard now to try and make this move his own. Swarming around behind the Singaporean, Dylan Tan, who won 2 weeks ago in the final, don't forget. This is his chance to tidy things up. But Putter really wants to take a second place finish. It would be his best ever result. A second in a superheat is big opportunity time for the Thai. Meanwhile, out in front, Toby Gale isn't even breaking a sweat considering it's 34 degrees Celsius out there. Amazing work from Toby Gale. Tan in second, Yam-Chan third, and then in fourth is Jaden Pope from Silicate Cinnamon Kukkasem. And then Setiavon, Sarmiento, Snabat, Ardia, and Aidan Forbes now comes up to 10th place. Good recovery from Aidan Forbes in this superheat. Now finding himself, the man from Hong Kong, into 10th. And that's at the expense of the ever-dropping Chanuknan Vidatacha. The next person who could be going for him is Zach Boyce. Meanwhile, Thomas George is up to 13th. Kamal is 14th. Jamie Ambrose has risen now to 15th in front of Panya Yam-Chan. And then the last 2 drivers in the mix are Sra Anuras and Seshan Gunasekara. And still, Putter fancies this second place finish. He's got 4 more laps as they come out of the final hairpin for Putter to make his bid. And the Thai will very much want to take this position away. Gale is well clear. Tan and Yam-Chan. Then Pope, Cinnamon Kukkasem and Setiavon, who's just been taking his time on this set of tyres. He doesn't want to rush things. He knows that a podium is still very possible. On the inside comes Yam-Chan. Dives in on Dylan Tan, P2. And Dylan Tan does not seem to be happy about it. Wags his finger at Wirdasak Yam-Chan as he goes through. So Dylan Tan with an attitude problem there against the Thai. But maybe we don't know the whole story. Certainly Wirdasak Yam-Chan getting through in his second place, much to the irritation of the man who won the final 2 weeks ago. Dylan Tan not a happy bunny. Jaden Pope in 4th position then from Cinnamon Kukasem and Dominic Setiavon. Paco Miguel Sarmiento, P7. And Slabat, Aria, and Aidan Forbes. Then Vidatacha, George, Boyce, Ambrose, Kamal, Yamchan, Sratanuras, and Sashan Gunasekara. The retirements, Wonkife and Shomuzwan. 3 laps to go. So Dylan Tan not able to mix the same sort of pace up as Wadapong Yamchan. Pato has now got ahead and is pulling clear, so it looks, I guess, to a certain degree that it was inevitable, really, that the top one, Kart Republic, was going to make the move. I'm just not entirely sure Dylan Tan was perfectly happy with the execution. 4th place is Jaden Pope, but now the tyres have finally fallen off the edge of the cliff for the Australian, and he doesn't have the same pace advantage as everybody else. Of course, it's worth pointing out that for the early part of yesterday, Jaden Pope was able to make his way further up in some of the races, partly because of the raw pace of the top one, Kart Republic, but also, of course, because he didn't get a fast lap in qualifying, so his tyres were still relatively fresh for the first heat. So Toby Gale goes into the penultimate lap, and the young man who lives just a few minutes down the road on the outskirts of the city of Pattaya, doing a fantastic job. 2nd place for his brother in Superheat A. Well, for Toby, he can do one better. Out through the Mickey Mouse section for the penultimate time. And Toby Gale really enjoying life in 2026. Last year, he had a fight in the championship. He was in the battle, in the mix with all sorts of competitors. The likes of Yukapo, Zaria Vraikal, Kimi Chan. They all had a chance to win the title, as did Toby Gale. And it was only a busy schedule combined with a European competition and his exams that kept Toby Gale from winning the title last year. In 2026, he's made it very clear, not again. Never again will I step aside to give up the chance of becoming an Infinity IAME Series Asia champion. 2026 is my year, and I will do whatever it takes to make it happen. Certainly, he's getting the job done here. Missed out on the final win at Pattaya 2 weeks ago. Now, surely, on the Grand Prix configuration of this circuit, he has more than enough potential to get the final one his way. Yamchan 2nd, Tan 3rd, from Pope, Cinnamon Kukasen, Setiman, Sarmiento. Forbes is having a great race, up to 8th position, the man from Hong Kong. Much better from him. And then Slabat and Aria in the top 10. But the checkered flag will come out, and it is the invincible man from Pattaya, Toby Gale, who makes it a victory once again. A brilliant, brilliant drive. And that puts him on the front row of the grid for the final later. It's going to be a fascinating battle for sure. And now we're going to get to see what he'll do in the final later. Wadapong Yamchan alongside Dylan Tan. And then it is Jaden Pope in 4th from Cinnamon Kukasem, Setiavon, Sarmiento. A fantastic drive by Aidan Forbes to get into the top 10 for the first time on merit. Mika Slabat and Nathan Aria. Amazing comebacks from the Birolats of Thomas George and Jamie Ambrose. They were 11th and 12th in the end after being dead last at the end of the first lap. So they can both be very happy with that. Chinoknan Vidatacha, Rafael Kamal, Zachary Boyce, Srat Anuras, and Panya Yamchan, the final finishers. Sadly, Sashan Gunasekara unable to take the flag. Oh no, he does take the flag in the end. And then Wonkife and Shomozwan were retirements. So there's going to be a pause in proceedings then.